We've received quite a bit of interest in my free to be workshop, so to that effect, beneath this video is a link that will give you a description for the workshop, and we've also included a special discount. So if that's something you would be interested in, I would invite you to click that link, and I hope that you would find the course to be quite beneficial. Repeatedly, you'll hear people in my position use the word gaslighting, which refers to a narcissist's efforts to keep you in a state of doubt and uncertainty about who you are. In other words, narcissists don't want you to trust in yourself. What they want is to make themselves to be the ultimate authority in your life, the one who says, here's the way things are supposed to be. And as a result, it's in their vested interest to keep you in a down position so that they can maintain their false superiority over you. And this is why they come toward you with so much criticism or mocking questions or pushy invalidations or withdrawal via punishment. They want to make sure that you know and you understand trusting who you are is not a good idea. You need to flow with me. Now, I want you to notice there are plenty of times when they succeed, as evidenced by you becoming too defensive, or maybe your anger becomes so unruly that you burst in reverse towards them, and then you carry that undertow of frustration and tension, which allows them to say, see, look how dysregulated you are. You can have a general feeling of defeat and you hide the real self. We don't need to let that happen. Your challenge is to ask yourself the question, can you truly trust who you are? Or are you going to go ahead and flow with all of the gaslighting and the dysfunction that the narcissist puts in front of you? I'm hoping you can realize, well, I think choice A is going to be a whole lot better. Let's take a look at what that would entail and what it would require for you as you decide, I'm going to learn to trust in myself. What does that consist of? Now, I have multiple things here, so stay with me because there's a lot for you to digest here. First and foremost, when you say, I'm going to trust myself, it means that you stay true to your values. The narcissist wants you to let go of your standards and your values and principles, but in self-trust, it's like, no, I make sense. I like the values that define me. I'm sticking with that. Likewise, trusting yourself means that you see yourself as deserving of love. One of the things you've heard me say before is that narcissism is the absence of love. But you know, the bottom line is love is why you're here. It's the ultimate good that you can pursue. You want to give love to other individuals. You want to receive love from others. And it begins with you learning to love yourself. That's where self-trust originates. In addition, learning to trust yourself means that you're willing to tend to your own needs as opposed to wishing you could tend to your own needs. That's what the narcissist wants. They just want you to feel like, well, one of these days maybe it'll happen. No, when you trust yourself, it's like, I have certain things that I need to do for myself, and today is going to be the day that I act upon it. You will tend to your needs. It's just part of what's baked into your sense of healthy self-preservation. In addition, part of your trusting yourself is you'll let yourself be authentic, as opposed to covering up, which is what the narcissist teaches you to do. It's like, I don't need to cover up who I am. Who I am is reasonable and decent. What you see is what you get. And if you don't like it, maybe that's not my problem to solve. I'm going to be the real me. And that entails internal and external consistency. That's what authenticity is. Another way that you show that you trust yourself is you listen to your gut. You listen to your concerns and your intuitions as opposed to constantly appeasing the narcissist when you know that they're running against you. At some point, it's like appeasing the narcissist doesn't work very well. I'm just going to go ahead and listen to who I am, listen to what my gut tells me, and then I'm going to follow through on that, which then leads to another evidence that you're trusting yourself, and that is you act assertively. You don't just speak assertively, you act assertively, as opposed to having ongoing suppression, which is what the narcissist teaches. And when I say assertively, you stand up for yourself with a reasonable sense of respect and honor. You don't have to be rude and mean about it, but you can have calm firmness. Another way that you show that you trust yourself is you get back up after you stumble. The narcissist loves to remind you that when you stumble, that means you're no good and you have no value. But it's like, to err is human. And when I err, I'm not shocked, I'm not surprised. And so when that happens, I trust myself enough to say, but I can learn from my mistakes. I'm going to pick up and I'm going to move forward a bit wiser for what's happened to me. That's self-trust. Another evidence of you trusting yourself is you can be decisive. The narcissist wants you to filter your decisions through them, and as a result, sometimes you just feel like you have to be coy or wishy-washy, and when your decisiveness doesn't match theirs, it's like, in self-trust, I'm just going to decide who I'm going to be and follow through with that. In addition, part of your self-trust is you appreciate and you follow through on your talents and your skills. I've had so many conversations with people who will say, these are my preferences, these are my skills, this is what I'd like to pursue. But if I do, the narcissist is going to get all over my case. And my response is, they stay mad most of the time anyway. Go ahead and follow through on what you need to be. Uniqueness and variety is built into the human experience. What's your uniqueness? And can you build upon that? In addition, as you trust yourself, you can go ahead and feel regret when you make mistakes, and then you can learn and you can move on because of it. Narcissists want you to think when you make mistakes, then that means you have no reason whatsoever to trust yourself, filter everything through me. As opposed to saying, it's through my mistakes that I can actually grow deeper and deeper into wisdom and insight. Trust yourself that even in the midst of mistakes, goodness can arise. In addition to that, it means that when you trust yourself, you have a definition of what it means to have meaning and purpose. The narcissist says, I'll tell you what gives you meaning. What gives you meaning is to do what I tell you to do. Whereas the healthy person that says, well, I'm going to trust who I am, realizes there's something so much bigger going on than what that narcissist wants me to understand. I refer to it as our transcendent thinking. I want to lean into love and kindness and goodness, and that's what gives me meaning, and that's what guides me, not the narcissist's decrees. Now, I think it's very interesting for us as we go through all these different evidences of self-trust to ask, why is it that a narcissist is so threatened by you trusting yourself? I mean, you'd like to think, you'd think that person would say, oh, good, this is great. You trust yourself, which means that you and I can have a greater arena to draw upon as we engage with each other. But they can't think that way. Narcissists are threatened by you because, you see, they think competitively. That's the mindset that they bring, and they want to play a one-up, one-down game with you. And when you have trust in yourself, it's your way of saying, no thanks, I don't feel the need to play that game. But they desperately want you to get into it, and it's like, no, not going to do it. Or in addition, the narcissist thinks that their significance in their own personal life is derived from the power that they have over other individuals. And when you trust yourself, it's your way of saying, but I don't want to play power games. I don't feel like that's where significance comes from. And the narcissist thinks, well, you need to play that game with me. No thanks. And that's threatening to them. Or in addition, narcissists are pessimists by nature. They think, well, if we let you trust yourself, then that's not going to go good. The world is full of bad people, and you're one of them, so you need to do what I say. And when you trust yourself, it's like, no, but I'm going to take an optimistic view, at least of myself, and you're running counter to the narrative that they have already bought into. In addition, when you show that you trust yourself, strangely, narcissists will interpret that as you rejecting them. And it's like, I'm not rejecting you. I'm simply living into the fullness of who I am and what defines me. But somehow they turn that into a victimization. It's like, you're coming against me now, aren't you? And again, it's like, I can't stop you thinking that way, but no, that's what I'm not doing that. Now, let's use some raw logic. You have the option. You can trust yourself or you can flow with a narcissist. And let's remind ourselves, narcissists are highly insecure. These individuals need you to feel inadequate for their own sense of inner strength. The narcissist doesn't bother listening to you or trying to know who you are. The narcissist is fueled and stimulated by their anger towards you, and so they're going to keep coming at you with that kind of mindset. The narcissists are displacing their pain onto you. The narcissist feels little to no need to self-reflect. The narcissist has a history of being destructive in the relationship with you. So, that's the person that says, you shouldn't trust yourself, you need to flow with me. And I'm thinking, wait just a minute, that doesn't compute. My response is this. I have two options. A, I can go ahead and flow with the narcissist who makes no sense and certainly has little regard for me. Or B, I can trust myself, which is a much wiser choice, and it leads to much better results. Let's see, which one am I going to choose? I choose B. I trust myself. I have no apology for thinking that way. I wish the narcissist had more internal stability so that that person could join me on the journey. But in the absence of that, I still trust myself. Now, I hope that videos such as this can stimulate you and give you some good hope that you can, in fact, grow and mature despite their efforts to the contrary. If you've not already hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so. We're going to keep more videos coming toward you, and I hope the cumulative effect is something that stimulates you as well. If you have a need for therapy, and many times when you're dealing with something like this, particularly on an ongoing basis, it's so helpful to have somebody that can say, let's talk. And let's figure this out. You know, I've been sponsored for years by the people at BetterHelp.com, and there's a whole team of licensed professional therapists, and the online therapy has become such a powerful resource now that we have. So as the need is there, know that there are people that'll say, I want to know you. I want to help you figure out who you are so that you can have that self-trust. Get the therapy that would be most beneficial for you. Likewise, I've put together multiple courses now, and each course has at least 25 videos. It's like signing up for an online class, and each video has written documentation, guided questions to lead you in a certain direction. We have Ready, Set, Connect, which talks about having healthy connections. Free to be, finding yourself despite those controllers. This is me, establishing your boundaries. Also, I have my 90-minute webinars that continue to be available on our website, along with many articles, access to our podcast, as well as my books that would be available there. So please take advantage of the resources that are there. Okay, the narcissist in all of their disarray says, you shouldn't trust yourself, you should flow with me. And I'm thinking, I don't like that math. That doesn't make any sense to me. You can be whatever you need to be over to the side. You're trying to take care of your own dysfunction at my expense. No, thank you. I'm not doing that. I'm going to go ahead and tune into what my gut tells me is wisest and best. I'm going to learn about who I am and what I believe. I'm going to trust myself. And in doing so, I hope it leads you in a pathway that takes you to a place of internal peace.